Now we're going to do the inside of the bowl. So I want a rim on it, right there, and we want to take the inside out. So starting the rim, you really want to get chisel well, gouge well over onto the side so that the bevel is going in the direction you want it to, and it won't skid back. Carry on, stopping on steps. Okay, before I go too much further, I want to take this rim slightly curved and slightly convex, so I want to go right down on the edge here. I couldn't do it from the other side because I would have been, there's the grain direction, I would have been pulling the grain out. Especially in this piece of softwood, it would be a disaster. Whereas if I go from this side, I'm actually smoothing it down. So the gouge is fairly sharp. Done very little work, as you can see, just that little bit there. So I can come back this way. And that'll give you a slight curve on there and a very smooth finish. A wee bit of sanding required there, but nothing spectacular. Okay, now when we go into the inside of the bowl, what we're looking for is a curve all the way. When a demonstrator is judging bowls, they run their hand around the inside without looking and try to feel any sharp bends, change of direction or whatever. You need a smooth curve. It's called a catenary curve. So this is a catenary curve. So a line between two posts. It's always a curve, whether it's deep, narrow bowl or a wide, flat bowl. And that's evident in this bowl here. You can see, nice smooth curve all the way. There's no changes of direction. It's quite deep and narrow. It'd be similar to this one, same wood. Okay, so we want the steps mean I'm not getting the whole of the chisel or the gouge into it. So I'm only working on about half of the edge there. So we don't want this corner or this one digging into the wood. We want to be able to keep the bowl on the chuck. So, see where I'm cutting? I tend to cut in sections like this because as you get towards the centre, the speed reduces dramatically. Working from here to here, the speed is roughly the same all the way. I can turn the gouge over and come back. That uses the other edge, which is already sharp, as you know. And again, leave the steps. Now, because I have a fixed head lathe, I find that a wee bit more awkward, so I tend to carry on working from this side. Slower in the centre. Just be careful, particularly if you're using a screw chuck, that hole, it will jump across the gap, catch the other side. Control the gouge. If you have to push, you probably need sharp. So that's done with, if you want, you can see this hand, the lightest perspective. you're turning bowls, it's a good idea to turn them all in one session, because the wood, even dry, will move when you remove them. You'll come back to it, it won't be circular. If you find you're going too deep, just pull the guides out and take slightly less. But do remember to stop before you hit the bulk in the middle. Back into the middle, now it's slower. When we were asked to do this, the email that was sent to Mark, it mentioned getting something square on the bottom. I didn't quite understand the copy I got. Doing it this way, you have very, very little chance of going through the bottom, because you can see what you're doing. And also, you have no square corners that are hard to sand, hard to keep clean, and make life difficult. In the 60s, we were taught in school to slavishly follow the outside shape. Nowadays we tend not to. Just want to check the depth there. Now you can use a homemade depth gauge which shows me that I'm about halfway down the bowl. Maybe you want to check with real measurements that you can trust. That's 45 millimeters, and the total bowl is exactly 90, but there's a recess in the bottom. So I can go to about 75. So I'm 45 out of 75, I'm over halfway. Now with a deeper bowl like this, getting round that corner may be quite difficult, which is why on this gouge I've taken off the heel, just to allow it to go around tighter corners. Really deep, narrow bowls you would need to get even maybe a 60 degree or up to 80 degree grind on the gouge. Okay, back in here again. I'm judging wall thickness just by looking at that while I'm working on the inside. Long way away from the tool rest, so turn it so that it goes inside. That gives you more control of the tool. Again, we'll stop and check, but it's quite difficult to get through the bottom. 55, so we've taken 10 millimeters out in the two cuts. So back again, try some more. Too much of a bite down there. Because it's going slower, you want to take less of it. So even though I know I haven't taken much out, even though I know I've got that dome in the base, I'm going to check again. So we're just over 60 now. And I said we were going to go to roughly 75, but it's getting very narrow, and as a bowl I particularly like it as it is. Because of the shape of it, a wee bit of weight on the bottom is going to help make it more stable, so I'm not going to take much more out of it, but I am going to change now to gouge that hasn't been used yet from some sharpening. I'm going to try and do finishing cuts. The only time I try to see into what I'm doing is when I get to the middle. All the rest of the cut I was watching the opposite side. Okay, so that should be pretty much just over 65. It's a nice finish, except in a small part up there. This wood is very, very soft indeed. So, as I showed you on the outside of the bowl, the smaller gouge, 1/4 inch bowl gouge, again standard grind, might just have to tidy that up. See, I can't get round. The noise is more to do with hard and soft changes. It's actually making it worse, as you can see. Maybe you can't see in there. It's actually making the grain a lot worse. That didn't work. Having greater difficulty in there because the heel removal is almost worn out on there. And on this one, the heel hasn't been touched. So that little bit of bounce I was getting there is about not being able to maintain contact. So right down at the bottom, I've got a little bump, so scraper, and I tend to go for a big heavy scraper just to get that last little bit. Scraper will tend to give you a better shape but not a better finish, so that will need for a bit of sanding, but that's taking the inside of the bowl out and it's carried on as a curve the whole way.